Hi guys, it's Debbie, and today I am finally speaking about the third season of Stranger Things. Stranger Things 3 was released on the 4th of July, and by that same evening I had watched all but one episode. That's how excited I was about this release. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not going to dive into this like a die-hard fan that will just forgive everything, a mistake I have already done in the past. For example, with Fantastic Beasts, which I love, but which isn't exactly flawless. So this time I decided to watch Stranger Things with an impartial eye. I loved the first season of Stranger Things. I love the whole concept of it, the character development, its interesting storyline, the general aesthetic, the soundtrack, the acting. Then the second season came out and it was definitely not the same thing. It was still good. I think I even put it in my best series of the year video, but in the end I really enjoyed it just for the first 2/3, in which it actually conveyed a good follow-up to the previous chapter, something which doesn't always work out with sagas when it comes down to sagas. But then it tumbled down the road of different storylines, characters which weren't necessary for any point in the plot. And now when I speak about that season with my friends, we all tend to struggle in figuring out what had actually happened in that season. It was a forgettable ending to a good story, and I think that actually put a lot of people off of keeping up with Stranger Things. Now this third chapter instead comes 2 years after the second one, and I think this played a major role in the final result of these new episodes, which I must say were fantastic. If you gave up on Stranger Things after the second season, trust me, don't worry, you have to see these new episodes. Everything we loved about the first season is back. The action-packed science fiction themes, the strong friendship bonds, the cheeky childhood adventures, the soundtrack, the acting, the character development. If you fell in love with Stranger Things the first time, you will cry this time round. Now, getting into the review, I know that sometimes when I review new releases, especially when they contain information that can easily become a spoiler, I become very vague. I might sound like I'm saying things such as, "Oh, such good acting, you don't want to miss out on this, aesthetically stunning cinematography," and other pretentious and unclear descriptions. That is because I'm treading on thin ice, but I will try my best to explain everything without giving away spoilers about this third season, although there will be references to the previous two, which in the end you have to see in order to understand this third one. So Stranger Things 3 is set on the backdrop of a bright American 80s summer. 4th of July celebrations, summer camps, disco music at swimming pools with hot people wearing colourful clothing, afternoons spent at this super shiny mall, and the characters seem to have recovered from the events of the previous episodes. The gate to the Upside Down seems closed. They're enjoying their time together. It's a bit of an American dream dripped in strawberry ice cream. But of course, the creatures of the Upside Down are back. Then instead of picking either a story in which we are 100% positive nothing will happen to our main characters, we are just waiting for the last episode in which they'll hug and congratulate themselves for their success in surviving, or something super gory, gruesome and dark, the series went for a mix of the two. The characters are no longer children building booby traps and getting out of sticky situations just because. But on the other hand, they're not even stuck in a situation something the creepy guy from Saw would set up. It's a mix of adventure and horror with a good dose of humour, all elements we loved back in the first season. And I think that the element that made this year so good is the deeper character development, something which was kind of skipped over in the second season, with Millie Bobby Brown being praised for just saying bitchin'. So after being introduced to the characters in the first season, we now know them so well to the point that we don't need the basics, we can delve deeper into their personalities. For example, Eleven is no longer seen wearing her standard plain clothes and rocking her shaven hair, but she's started to develop her own style, her personality, and there is a lot of self-irony about how she is basically unaware of things other kids had done during their childhood. Her lines are now more comedic, sarcastic, unintentionally ironic. Max gets a lot more space to express herself. Mike and Lucas are no longer kids riding on their bikes. Dustin is the ever more cool nerd kid who actually gets a lot of well-deserved and fun screen time. As a matter of fact, I feel like the best created characters of this year were no longer the big screen names, Myleven, Will, but some of the other characters. This is something you can already notice from the trailer. In addition to Dustin, Steve used to be just a good-looking guy whose character would get a little deep every now and again when needed, but it was mostly for the old brother, father figure trope. While 2019 just hits you right in the guts with all the information we have about him, and not just about his hairstyle. Then remember Billy, Max's bully brother. He gets a major role in this season as he is somebody who might seem really cool and confident and cocky on the outside, but who in reality develops this attitude as a coping mechanism to everything he has been through, and who ultimately becomes an easy prey for the upside down demons. He is portrayed by Dacre Montgomery, who I really can't wait to see in more works, in feature films, because he's a really interesting figure. Then on the totally opposite end of the spectrum, we have Hopper, the chief of Hawkins Police, and who is a father figure for Elle. He is portrayed by David Harbour, who in my personal opinion was the man of the show. He definitely conveyed the best acting, he had the most emotion-fueled role, and his character in the end was the one that kept all the different storylines strung together. I couldn't have asked for more from this character. They're the recurring roles of Joyce, Nancy, Jonathan, and then there are more new roles which I will not go into to not spoil anything. Some of them you will love, some of them you will hate. There is one character I can speak about because she is in all the promotional material, and that is Robin, Steve's co-worker at Scoops Ahoy, his new workplace, and who, fun fact, I didn't know, she was the daughter of Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke. Mind blown. Although once you know it, you can't really unsee it. Well, anyway, she really stepped well into that witty, humour-packed role, but with a side of wanting to go on adventures and getting really deep. Then there was lifeguard Heather, who I actually discovered through really uncommon paths. Miranda Sings. She is the on-screen sister of Miranda Sings in Haters Back Off. But anyway, getting back to the review, the one element I think all the characters conveyed, new or old, was fear. It is one of the main themes this year. Early on I was speaking about how there no longer is that I'm just a kid riding a bike on an aesthetically pleasing adventurous background. In this season, all the characters are scared beyond their wits. They are overwhelmed by this concept of the upside down they just can't seem to defeat. There are ever more frightening monsters, people dying, and this is also all reflected in the visual way everything is conveyed. Stranger Things has never been shy on the gory side. We've seen beloved characters like Bob being devoured by demodogs and bloody scenes all over the place. But this year it went full brutal. Not only for the gory parts, the gory shots, but also on a psychological level. Take again the character of Billy. The whole cinematography was raised to a whole new level to convey all of this. You have this bright, shiny American dream made of shiny malls and shopping and fun fairs and fireworks, but it is all dripping in death. So the outcome is these really violent scenes, but maybe set under pink neon lights, while the characters are wearing their new clothes from Gap. Imagine being a kid, imagine being a teenager or pre-teenager going through all the issues you go through anyway at that age, and then constantly having to deal with all of these issues, having to deal with death, not being able to overcome something, surviving all sorts of adventures and then being thrown right back into them. So if by the end of season 2 I was happy, looking forward for more, but at the same time upset, let down because of the path that season had taken, I am now looking forward to further developments. And if you are a Stranger Things fan like myself, you have to go and get your Hawkins, Indiana merch. It's at the link in the description where I get most of the t-shirts you see me wearing in my videos, including the one I am wearing today. There are hundreds of different prints about pop culture in general, films, TV series, music, and you can get them on t-shirts, shoes, bags, posters, hoodies, so you can get ready for the cozy autumn Netflix binge watching season. They're all super cheap, and if you use the code in the description, you can get an extra discount. But now I want to know what you think about the third season of Stranger Things, about all this topic, so make sure to leave a comment down below with your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe and I'll see you soon. Bye.